What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to Chaotic Minds. As always, it's Winged,
And a minute.
and we apologize profusely that we didn't put a show out last week.
He was kind of tired.
Yep, started a new job and was a little sleepy. Wasn't able to really do anything at all last week in regards to that. However, we
He's
are back.
getting there.
Yep, we are back. And, there's a couple of things I did want to hit on
Okay.
that I was planning on doing last week. But, I needed sleep.
The need for sleep overrode the need to make a new episode.
Pretty much. So, last week, as far as gaming-wise,
Okay.
my favorite game, a game that I have a lot of love for and a lot of hate for, more love than hate, came out with a reprised raid. I'm talking about Destiny 2, as always. For those of you who don't know, a raid is like endgame content. Like you go through a storyline mission, bunch of storyline missions, and then at the end of it, it can lead up to a raid where you and 5 other people go into this really difficult thing.
And you have to bring that team in.
Yep. Where, there's puzzles and there's like, some of them are like really intricate puzzles and some of them are like just run and guns, kind of like. But they brought back an old one. And it got me thinking because every
I
time
smell burning.
they introduce a new raid, they do what's called World's First. World's First is a competition that Bungie puts out for people to compete to be the first one to complete the new raid that came out, or the reprised raid. One that has already been in before, but they just reintroduced it, retweaked it, and made it difficult, but it brings back like a lot of nostalgia.
Kind of like in-game content
Yeah.
/ new content / haven't we seen this before?
Yep. But what they do is how it used to be was they would just introduce the raid, have everybody go into it, and whoever finished it first won. And they actually won a prize. The prize that they won was almost like a WWE championship belt, right? That had World First on it. It had the logo of the raid on the front, and on the side it would have the names of the fire team, the 6-man team that went in.
That's kind of cool.
Yeah, and there's only 6 of them made per raid. So, like, if you get one, that's 1 of 6, 2 of 6, whatever. However, with these last couple ones that they've done, they've changed it. And you don't have to go through it once. You have to go through it twice. The first time that you go through it unlocks the second time. First time you run through it, it is your standard raid. It is just how it is, right? The second time you run through it, you have to do what's called challenge mode, which is everything is harder. Like, enemies are tougher to beat. There's a lot more of them.
Hey, look, an ogre. Oh, no, this time there's 2.
Yeah, pretty much. But you have to run through it with the same fire team, and it's a lot harder than the original one. However, it seems like every year, or every time they do this, it's one of like 3 or 4 teams that do it, that manage it.
That do it every time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which, good for them. I'm definitely glad for that. However,
We do not have the time for that. We all have jobs.
well, I mean, a lot of the time, like, it takes hours to complete.
Last Wish.
Yeah, that's one of them.
That was a nightmare. I think you guys were doing it for like 12 and a half, 13 hours. You still didn't complete it.
No, that was not Last Wish.
That wasn't Last Wish?
No, that one was from Destiny 1.
It was a pain in the ass.
And that was Wrath of the Machine.
Yeah, no. I don't like it.
We were I was kind of hoping that was going to be the one that they reintroduced. But seeing as how, the story is going the way that it is for right now, it does make more sense that this one was the one that was brought back. But no, like I went ahead and I ran through it with a couple with one of my buddies, Undead, which for those who are listening,
Duh, guys.
for those who are listening and who have listened to us, he was actually the guy who we had on for the first, our first outside guest. And then we did a LFG. We looked for group, found 4 other random people, and ran through the raid, and it was smooth. Like for people who have never played together, right? Minus like some of the guys in that raid, and then me and Undead, other than that, we've never had any interaction with each other. We've never played with each other. We completed it faster than what we did when it was me and the guys. Like I'm not kidding.
That's kind of sad.
I'm not kidding.
But then again, when you and all the guys get together, it becomes more of a who's razzing who and who's roasting who.
Yeah, there is
and
that.
them thinking I'm not real.
We bullshit around a lot.
Too much sometimes.
But here's where I'm gonna circle it back around. When it comes to World's First, right? Do I think the best team should get it? Absolutely. I really do. However,
I don't think you should be able to win it more than once.
Exactly my point. Because then, like, take for example, the people who I play with, right? They got 84th in the world in completing it, which is awesome.
I still think there should be some sort of prize for that, like top
like
100.
Break top 100, absolutely.
Yeah.
But like,
even a bracelet being like top 100.
Yeah.
Like,
seriously. But I think that, yeah, you're the best in the world for this one, and then you have to take a break, right? You can't have the same people for the next one, right?
Yeah.
Kind of like with football. I don't think that the same team should
go to the Super Bowl every year.
Yeah. Back to back to back years.
Yeah.
You
mean Tom Brady?
Yeah. Oh, the Steelers did too. Sorry, Dad. Not sorry. But no, like I don't think you should be able to win it multiple years in a row. Now, I don't know if that's what happened this year. But there have been past raids and past World's First that the same team has won back to back. And good on them. Great. Congratulations. Go outside and touch grass. Okay?
Do this thing called interact with humans.
Outside of a screen. It's impressive to see how well these people overcome and adapt to these new situations. But at the same time, like, y'all need to chill. Like, you already have a almost impossibly rare item because you were the first one to complete it at one point. Why do you need more than one?
Exactly.
But, whatever. It just got me thinking, like, I don't know how to put it. Like, it got me thinking about that, and then it got me thinking about, like, football and, like, sports-wise. Like, some of these teams that have gone through, these championships, and they've won multiple years in a row because they've had the most money to do it, or stuff like that.
Or deflated balls.
Yeah.
I mean, Deflategate.
But, like, how is that fair to, people who they get on and they play for fun? They're casual players.
A lot of these people that win, I have a theory, are career players and do nothing but play video games.
Oh,
for
I
a
can
living.
almost guarantee that. I mean, there are some people who they'll get on and they'll wake up, they'll get on and they'll play, and the only time that they'll step away from playing is to go to the bathroom or get food.
If they do that, because we've known cases and we've seen cases where they've just worn diapers for those important events.
And then, like, they go to bed and they sleep for a couple hours and get up and go through it again. My clan, the people who I play with, when they were competing for World's First, the reason why they got 84th in the world is because they went to bed and they came back the next day and they completed it. Like, it's the way to do it. Especially if you're having issues or you're getting frustrated with, the synergy and whatnot, because people get tired, people get fatigued.
Not only that, but having those people, it's all great. If you can afford to play video games for a living, more power to you. There are some people that can't. Also, if you have a medical condition, you really shouldn't be doing that for 18, 20, 24, 48, however many hours you do it.
Yeah.
Because one of these days, you're going to end up having a heart attack, and they're going to find your body, and it's not going to be pretty.
Yeah.
And I mean, I'm not gonna sit here and say that that's the case for everybody, but you're gonna end up dying of a heart attack just because you don't do anything. You don't get up. You don't move around.
You don't go outside.
Yeah, vitamin D deficiency. You're gonna end up with rickets.
Vitamin K.
Vitamin D.
So, but no, it's one of those things. It's like, good on you. Congratulations to the person who won. I don't care. I didn't even attempt to try. But like, can we give some freedom?
Can we give somebody else a chance?
Yeah, variety. It's what I was. That was what I was looking for. Can we get some variety in some of this stuff here? That'd be great.
Yeah, not likely to happen because it's all publicity.
Yeah. Well, I mean, kind of. Because like there are a lot of people who are interested in World's First and following that and all of that, but like it's not like it gets televised on like any sort of major news network. Yeah, you'll have like like articles pop up of like, hey, this team did it. Twitter or X, however you want to put it, it's Twitter. We'll go ahead and be like, hey, this team did this, and we're verifying everything. Yeah, that's great, but that's about it. Like, it's a very niche thing, which niche things are fine, but like, let's have some variety in it. We have a small universe, so to speak, that everybody who plays Destiny falls into.
Yeah.
Let's spice things up a little bit. Let's have a little bit of variety into it.
I'm wondering what they're going to do with raids and how raids work with D3 when it finally comes out.
Well, we're not even worried about D3 right now because they haven't even completed D2 yet.
I know.
So I'll worry about it when that comes up. And who knows? We may talk about it. But
eventually.
Yep. So that was the first thing. The second thing that I wanted to talk about today. Holy crap. There's been a lot of stuff's been happening in the world. I mean, from the guy in Pennsylvania, my home state,
that escaped
the same way somebody else did.
Dude, the prison's got to learn from their mistakes.
Oh yeah. To that YouTuber mom who got charged
with child abuse and
child
neglect.
Abuse, yeah. Like, how are you going to do that to your kids?
I used to watch that lady until I reported her.
To everything that's going down in Georgia right now. Like, the world, like, right now, everything is
nuts.
like, there is courts everywhere. Like, anything, like, you can't turn on the news without, something to do with the court system, with the justice system and the judicial branch of the government in the news. It's like, oh my goodness.
That's why I don't watch the news. It's all fucking terrible.
That is true. But like, do I think overall, like, let's do it this way. Since I'm the one, typically I share my opinion first.
Okay.
Let's do this. How do you see the justice system right now?
Broken as fuck.
Okay. Go into it a little bit more.
The fact that innocent people continue to go to jail, the fact that innocent people continue to be put to death, if there is a death penalty and you're not waiting 25 years just sitting in your cell being innocent, the people that do these terrible things are getting away with it, people that have money are getting away with it, but on that note, people that go to jail that did something terrible, that have money, it finally happened.
What did?
Somebody went to jail that had money and is going to be there for 30 years.
Oh, you're talking to the guy from...
James Marsden.
Yeah, you're talking to the guy from That 70s Show.
Yep.
Yeah.
Because it's like, even though he maintained his innocence, it was proven beyond a shadow of a doubt. And I have no doubt that going forward, there's probably going to be more women that come forward.
I have no doubt that because of how he attempted to hide things, that they're going to start looking more into the Church of Scientology.
They can't do anything about the Church of Scientology.
They can, though.
They can investigate. They can jail
just
people.
Like
they can do whatever.
Just like they can do. They're doing. You know, what was that? What was that one show? Escaping
Polygamy.
Yeah, they're doing the same thing.
They raided because they were committing tax evasion and child labor.
Yeah, they can do the same thing.
Yeah, but they're not.
Scientology
isn't doing all that.
No, they're doing worse.
Yeah. So
they can look into it for those worse things.
Yeah.
Like you shouldn't be able to run and hide behind the doors of, oh, I'm a pious person. I have this religion, so you can't touch me while I'm in here. Excuse you, knock knock. Jehovah's Witness.
No, it's like the sovereign citizens bullshit.
I don't
know. We don't have to get into that because I know you're feeling about it. But it's like Scientology reminds the way people in Scientology act. It reminds me a lot of the sovereign citizen movement. Sorry.
I mean, yeah, I could see that, but then you'd have to lump Mormons into the same thing. Certain sects of Mormons. Like, we've met some really dope Mormons.
Yeah, the ones that play D&D.
Yeah, and that's fantastic. And I love the fact that we've met those weird, those outliers, those weird ones. What are they called? Jack Mormons?
I don't know. They're still Mormons, but it's funny making a bet with them, and they're like, if you beat me at this, then I have to go to church with you on Sunday. If I beat you at this, you have to get a tattoo. And, knowing what I know about the Mormon religion and knowing that tattoos are a no-no and stuff like that, losing on purpose, but still, it's fun to make them think for 1 minute that I'm going to wipe the floor with them just so they have to get a tattoo and cause them to be removed from their religion. No, I'm not about that. But it's still fun that they would participate anyway. They love having fun.
Certain ones don't.
Yeah. Then you got those creepy ones that think they need to marry 100 women, and that's the LDS side of Mormon Church.
Yep.
Which is not practiced and is frowned upon by the Mormon Church, which is funny.
Well, I mean, it's looking back at it, it's the same. There are many different branches, or
of each religion
of like say Christianity, right? And I'm saying that only because we know it pretty well, right?
For the most part.
They have Catholics, they have Protestants, they have Pentecostals, they have Latter-day Saints. The overarching thing of it is they believe in God, Jesus, and, the devil. Except
for the LDS Church, the Mormon sect that believes in polygamy. They believe in their Lord and Savior Warren Jeffs, which is a creep and a pedophile.
Hang on. I wasn't done yet. The Baptists, that kind of stuff. They believe that there is God, Jesus, and the devil, and eventually the ones who believe will be called up to heaven, and the rest of, those who don't will be left behind, right? And then the apocalypse and yada, yada, yada. But there are different sects of it. I mean, this country was founded because a group of Christians who didn't want to practice and didn't believe in the same way that the main branch did back in the day left to escape, religious persecution. The Protestant people left England and immigrated and sailed across the ocean to America to escape Catholicism. So, I mean,
To escape Roman Catholicism.
There are different branches that they have an overarching faith,
Yeah.
but they believe in different ways of doing things, right?
Yep.
And that goes across all the, pretty much any religion in the world. Nobody will practice the same way that anybody else does, right?
Exactly.
But I forgot where we started going down this road here. Oh, Scientology. Scientology, on the other hand, doesn't, right? And Scientology, as explained by some of the people who have gotten out of it, is a cult. It's a pyramid scheme, right? And how people move up is by giving up like their stuff or committing really fucked up acts, right?
Yeah, the more money you give, the higher position you have in Scientology.
Which,
Tom Cruise, I'm talking to you.
Here's the thing with that. There could be hundreds of documents of like, this is what I did to move up. This is what I did to move up. All this, that, and the other thing. Statements of, we paid this person this much money to shut them up so that way they wouldn't go to the police about some of the stuff that they went through, right? And this could open the door to having that exposed.
Katie Holmes needs to come forward. Tom Cruise needs to go down.
Well, Katie Holmes has come forward.
Yeah, but she's been
that
shut down at every moment.
That was also back when Scientology was first becoming a thing.
Oh no, it's been around for a lot longer than you think.
Really?
Tom Cruise's grandfather was part of the Church of Scientology.
Ah.
Yeah, it's been around for a long time. It's only become more mainstream because
of Katie Holmes.
Because
like that was the first time
Nicole Kidman and Tom Cruise were both in Scientology. She left. She got divorced from him. He stayed in because he followed the rules. She got removed because she didn't follow the rules. Katie Holmes was married to Tom Cruise, had Surrey. She refused to follow the rules and refused to put her daughter into that cult.
Like, that right there is the first time I remember hearing anything about it.
Oh, God, no. I've been hearing about Scientology since I was little. I actually went, when I was in my world religions class, I went into a Church of Scientology here in Denver. It was weird, but it was, like, calm. It's just really odd.
Yeah. Well, I mean, any place that can be considered, like, sacred and holy would have that feeling to it. But I don't know. For me, it's a little, like, don't get me wrong. I don't have an issue with out there kind of stuff, right?
I don't have an issue with any other religion, just as long as you're not
shoving it down my throat.
Exactly. It ain't your mama's dildo that she likes to party with on Saturday. You need to stop shoving it down my throat.
No, but like something doesn't sit right with me, right? Like,
I thought there for a long time Nathaniel was going to become a Scientologist.
Nah. No, I couldn't see him doing that.
Oh, I could.
But like,
he's like, Scientology, that means they're all about science, right?
No.
He's kind of dumb. He would. He's really smart in his own way, but he's kind of dumb when it comes to.
He has no common sense.
Exactly.
He is what we in the Navy call a nuke. Yeah. Overthinks everything. He's really smart about a lot of subjects. No common sense whatsoever.
Yeah.
It's to balance it out.
Because
if you had somebody who had who was really smart and a lot of common sense, they would run the world.
Yeah. And that's the thing, is like our son is highly intelligent about a lot of stuff, but just by that statement he said alone when he was like 14, I'm like,
No. No. Just no.
Huh?
No.
Like, my brain cells started self-destructing when he said that, and I'm just like, no! This is not how this works. It's not how any of this works.
Yep.
It's like, you want to look up the Church of Scientology? Go for it. But I can guarantee you join the Church of Scientology, they will never allow you to speak to any of us again.
Pretty much. But like, I will never knock somebody else's religion, right? That's what the First Amendment of the Constitution says.
I'll knock Scientology.
However, there are some that I will sit there and be like, yeah, about that, Chief. No. Absolutely not. I don't understand it. I don't want to understand it. It sounds made up and ridiculous. Granted, the religion that I was born into, and that I am a follower of, also sounds made up and ridiculous. But like, I just no. Sorry, no. But then, like I said,
it's kind of weird how some of these religions work. I don't know.
And so then,
The hierarchy structure.
yeah,
It's kind of like a family tree that goes nowhere. It's just a trunk.
it's just a straight line. But moving past that, let's talk about the guy who escaped in Pennsylvania.
You can talk about that because I know nothing other than he escaped from a prison in Pennsylvania by climbing parkour style.
I do parkour shit.
Right? That's exactly what I said.
So pretty much, basic TLDR. Is this guy was a Brazilian who immigrated, right? And he met another Brazilian immigrant, ended up getting into a relationship with her, and then started, like, as soon as the relationship started, he started acting a little squirrely. And as he was, acting squirrely, he'd, be upset. His personality started to shift and all of that. And then, like, when he started drinking, it got worse. Like, his sister-in-law was like, this isn't the same person. He kept trying to go through her phone, talking about his wife, and all of that. And she filed for a restraining or a protective order. Restraining order, I don't remember which one it was exactly, but it was somewhere along those lines. Back in 2020, and everything seemed like it was going to be fine until this guy broke into the house and killed his ex-wife, leaving their kids unharmed, thankfully. But once he did that, he ran, obviously. He ended up getting caught and sent to prison. Now, how he got out of this prison was he did some parkour shit. He crab walked up a wall by putting his feet on one side of the wall and putting his hands on the opposite wall. Like, think about how you used to do it, like when you were a kid. Trying to go up the walls of your house, like, or up the door frames, that way you could touch the top of the door frame. But he did that all the way up to the top of the building, climbed through razor wire, ran across the building, did some more parkour shit, crossed another set of razor wire, and then escaped. And now the sister-in-law is afraid that he's going to track her down and kill her because she was part of the problem in his mind. There's a lot of heat going on that prison system because apparently there was an escape that was done, like, either a couple years prior or a couple months. I can't exactly remember the specifics in that one. But there was an escape that was done the exact same way. And there was a company that came in to consult about, like, hey, how can we prevent this from happening again? And they're like, oh, take some razor wire, stick it up at the top. Then they won't be able to do anything. Well, guess what? They did something. So that company is under fire. And then the prison itself is under fire, and the guards, one guard who was set to watch the cameras all around the prison, and the guard that was in the tower, the prison tower that was overlooking that area. Both of those guys are on suspension because they didn't catch this guy and stop him before he went and actually got out. He is still at large in Pennsylvania, which is fantastic sarcasm. Because I still do have family in Pennsylvania. You know, my brothers and my sister are still there. But he's been on the run for, I think this makes day 9 or 10. Now I'm not sure if he's gotten caught yet, as it is right now that I've seen. He's still on the run. He's been picked up on trail cameras. He's been picked up on, you know, people have seen him and they've reported him and all that kind of fun stuff. And residents of the area are being told, hey, stay inside, lock your doors, lock your windows, and keep in contact with your neighbors. Like, be neighborly. Check in on them. Make sure they're doing okay. Check in on your friends. Check in on your family. Make sure everybody's doing okay, because this guy is a murderer. Like, who knows what's going to set him off next, if anything does set him off. And I'm praying that nothing does. But if something does, who knows what that's going to be? Be on the lookout. Be careful. And for those people who are listening from Pennsylvania or right around that area, be careful. If you see somebody who's running around and he's like being paranoid, looking over his shoulder, you know, or, you know, he just gives you that weird feeling, stay away. Like, just keep an eye on things. Be safe, be smart. You know, don't open doors to random strangers in the middle of the night. Please don't, unless you got old buckshot behind the door, double barrel shotgun setting up ready to go. I don't know why I suddenly dropped in southern accent there. You know, but be careful. And, you know, just keep an eye on things and keep in contact with your friends. You know, the best way to catch them is to be vigilant, you know. And if you want to know more and you want to, you know, find out what he looks like, where the last time anybody saw him, just check online, Google it.
Bad thing is he's like 5 foot tall and like 120 pounds. So any of my bigger girls out there, attract him and sit on him.
Yeah. And then the last thing with the news stuff that I can, you know, think of right now is everything that's going down in Georgia. Like that in itself is a shit show and a half. You know.
We specialize in shit shows.
I mean, kinda. The American government kinda does. You know, but like, there's a lot to go through.
It's a shit sandwich.
Yeah, there's a lot to go through. I don't have the time nor the patience to go
I don't have the brain cells
to go through everything, you know. So if you want to find out more, do your research. Don't however, what I will say is this. Don't get it from one source.
Get it from multiple sources.
Get it from multiple. Like, if you typically watch like MSNBC, cool, great, watch that. Then watch CNN. Then watch Fox. You know, get all
multiple angles of the same story.
Yeah.
And that's what news stations are there for. If you watch 5 different news stations and they have the same story, guarantee you it's going to be told 5 different ways.
Yep.
And that's the thing. One news station may have a scoop that the other news station doesn't, and they may know a little more about a certain thing. And that's the thing. You gotta take it from multiple accounts and multiple viewpoints, because
that's the only real way that you're going to be able to get the truth.
Exactly.
Otherwise, you get a
watered down version.
Watered down, biased version. I mean, that's why, like, when we do watch any sort of news, we watch the person that we do. Because he goes right down the middle. He tells you the story as it is.
He gives you his opinion, and then he asks for yours.
Yeah. And he's open to that conversation, which is fantastic.
Which is unheard of in the news.
Yeah.
In the news realm.
Yep.
And that's the thing is, like, I think that everybody should be able to have all of the information about a certain thing, especially when it's something as big as the whole Trump debacle.
Debacle.
Yeah, you know what I'm talking about.
Yeah,
but
I get you.
it's like,
Everything that's going on with that, everything that's going on with the RICO case down in Georgia, and then
and that's the thing is, like,
federal case in Washington.
All the news stations and all the news networks and whatever you want to call it should be able to have the same information as all the rest of them. They shouldn't be blocked because they're more of a liberal news station. They're more of a Republican news station. Conservative, Democrat. Like, just because there's certain viewpoints of the station doesn't mean that as Americans or as people around the world are watching, they need and they deserve the truth. The good, bad, and the ugly.
Yep.
And that's why I dislike the way they teach things like American history, because all they want to do is tell the good.
Well, yeah, I mean, history is written by the winners.
Good. Yeah, but they need to be teaching about the losers, because that's why we got soft-ass kids.
Well, and then the problem with it is if you fail to teach something about history the way that it came about, if you're going to teach somebody about history, teach them
everything.
Teach them from an outsider's view. Give them access to all of the information, and let guide them through. Like, this is what it is. This is what it is. But guide them through everything, both sides of every story.
Actually, all three sides, if you really want to get technical, because there's yours, mine, and the truth. And that's the thing is, like you stated, you've got to get that from multiple news sources. You can't just do one. A lot of people like to read their news, and that's why I'm kind of sad that the newspaper went the way of the dodo.
Yeah.
But, like, you can get your newspapers online. You can get newspapers in the store still. Granted, they're not going to be as large as they used to be or whatnot.
Well, except for Sundays.
Sundays are always pretty big.
Yeah.
But the thing is like, you have to continue to get your news from multiple sources. You can't just be like, oh, Denver Post's the only way to go for me.
Oh, Channel 7.
Oh, Fox News.
Channel 9.
Fox News is fake news.
Yeah,
you
can't
do that.
You really can't. Because here's the problem. If you only teach one side, people are bound to repeat over and over again because nothing was learned.
Oh, history's already repeating itself.
Oh, yeah, I know.
I mean, look at the way, it's not exactly the same thing, like the whole segregation of schools and stuff like that with blacks and whites and stuff. No, now it's the straights and the gays.
Yeah.
They don't give a shit if you're gay, bi, trans, purple, green, whatever. They don't care. If you are a part of the LGBTQ community, you are lumped together as gays.
Yep.
And that's the sad part.
Yeah.
It's like, if you're not straight, you're gay. If you're not gay, you're automatically straight. And that's not the case.
Yeah. Sometimes you just don't want to have anything to do with anybody.
And the thing that's funny about the whole ordeal, the funniest part about it all,
what is that?
Is those people that are so against, you are poisoning our children and yada, yada, yada. Their husbands are the ones that are coming out as gay.
Sometimes.
Oh, a lot of the hardcore zealots are, it's like, if you need help coming out, I will throw you a freaking parade. I don't give a shit. I don't give a shit if you're in one of those towns that doesn't accept you for who you are. Fuck it. I'll throw on whatever on my vehicle when I have one and light up the fucking town. It doesn't matter.
No.
We don't give a shit who you are. If you're cool with us, we're going to be cool with you. If you're going to be a dick to us, guess what? We match your energy.
But no, I think you said it best a few times, just one-on-one conversation with me. Everyone has the right to be miserable just like everybody else. And I know that you said it as a joke, but pretty much...
no, it wasn't a joke.
Everyone deserves to be married to just as everybody else does.
If you are married, and I want this to be kind of a question to everybody. If you are married and you have never been miserable,
Can I have some of your crack?
I want some of what you're smoking or drinking because obviously it's some good shit.
I mean, do we get along all the time?
Hell no.
Do we
Most of the
make each
time,
other-
you fucking annoy the shit out of me.
And you do the same thing for me. Fuck you, bitch.
Exactly.
But
At the end of the day, there is no one I'd rather have my back.
hello.
Oh, God. He has my back. I'm boneless.
But no, like, everyone deserves to have love.
Everyone deserves to have somebody that they can call home. Like, for me, it's, you annoy the shit out of me. Yeah, cool. I have friends that are great. I love them to death. Sometimes they annoy the shit out of me. Like when they call like 5-6 times in a matter of an hour because their new boyfriend is having problems with his ex. I'm not Dr. Phil.
I wouldn't want to be Dr. Phil
I have
anyways.
not had a perfect relationship ever.
I mean, I'm pretty damn close.
I mean, I've got one baby daddy who hasn't seen his kid in 15 years. I've got one baby daddy that's... Well, we're not even going to talk about that.
And then you have me.
Who's
And I'm-
not my baby daddy.
And I'm close to as perfect as you can get.
Guys, he is now turned into Pinocchio.
Aw. But no, like, no relationship is going to be perfect.
Ever. And if you're saying your relationship is perfect, there's something fucking wrong with you.
Yeah, you're hiding something. Like, my Nonna and my Poppy, before they passed, were married for over 50 years. Like, that's a fucking lifetime.
Yeah.
You know,
30 years is a lifetime, let's face it.
my parents are coming up, like, I think they just hit, like, 25 years. You know.
Yeah.
But is their relationship perfect?
Hell no.
Was my Nonna and Poppy's relationship perfect?
No.
No, I mean they would yell at each other all the time. They'd start off in English, switch over to Italian when they were getting real dirty, and then switch back over to English when they were done being nasty to each other. It was hysterical to see, because you just see Marie, what, and then enter Italian here, and this is why we don't do this. It's like, hold up, I missed part of that conversation.
And it's funny because I do the same thing except for with Spanish. Like when
Well, and the problem is I don't understand Spanish.
and you don't understand Italian. But the thing is, I understand Spanish and speak Spanish fluently, so guess what? I understand.
You understand bits and pieces. Italian and Spanish, while they are similar, it is not identical.
I can pretty much pick up what they're stepping
My
on.
sister had the same thought when she was in high school. I'm going to learn Spanish. That way when Nora and Poppy start going off on each other, I know what they're saying. And I'm like, you ain't going to be able to figure out what they're saying. And I asked her one time after, she had done like 3-4 years of Spanish in high school. And Nona and Poppy came down and they were talking to each other. And, you know, they started going off at each other in Italian. And I asked my sister, I was like, hey, what'd they say? And she's like, something about a horse? I don't know. You know, so.
And that's the thing is, like, the more you get into Spanish, the more slang terms and stuff like that you know and understand, the more you'll pick up on slang terms in Italian.
Yeah.
And that was probably the problem. Your sister was learning book Spanish and speaking Spanish, but not slang Spanish.
Street Spanish.
And I took 1 year of Spanish in school. That's it. The rest of it I learned in the hood.
I am 1 year into German, and I just started learning. I just started a course in Italian.
I told you that's what you should have done in the first place.
Shut up.
Or Spanish. You should have done Spanish.
But no, like, everyone has the ability. Everyone should have the ability, because at the end of the day, when we're put into the ground or set on fire, we're human. Like, who the fuck cares?
Exactly.
Let's put it this way. Does it harm you in any way, shape, or form physically
To be nice to somebody that's different than you?
if somebody is gay or not? Answer, no, it doesn't.
Welcome to the club. I like both sides. Who cares?
The only way that it affects you is because of your religious upbringing. That's it.
Not only that, but if the person is going to shove it down their throats, be like, hey, you're kind of hot. Well, I'm straight.
Well, yeah, I mean,
Well,
I've gotten hit on before.
I can turn you gay.
I've gotten hit on
like-
before. Like, and that creeped me out because I am very much a straight white man. You know, I am very much a straight white man.
He's very secure in his masculinity.
Yeah,
and his
like
sexuality.
I'm secure enough that I can look at a guy and be like, yeah, he's hot. Antonio Banderas, I'm looking at you there, man.
Right.
But at the same time, there was at one point I was working at a retail store, and this guy came in, and I was rubbing my shoulders because I just had to pick up something real heavy, and he looked at me and goes, "Oh, what's the matter?" I'm like, "Oh, just sore shoulders." He goes, "What time are you off?" I'm like, why?" He goes, "Well, when you get off, I mean, I'm going to be over at the bar back. I'm going to be at the restaurant behind, over here. Why don't you come over and I'll get you a drink? We'll take some of the stress off those shoulders." And I'm like, about that.
No.
And he's like, "What?" I'm like, "I have a significant other that I'm with." And he goes, "They don't have to know." I'm like, He goes, "I'll see you there," and leaves. And I'm just like, I called you immediately. I'm like, I looked at my boss. I'm like, I got to make a phone call and go smoke a cigarette. He goes, "Oh, okay. I'll explain it to you later."
Yeah.
And I went out
phone call,
and I lit up a
what?
smoke and I called
I started
you.
laughing.
And that was the only thing you did. I was traumatized.
I started laughing. I was like, well, at least somebody else finds you attractive.
Yeah. Other than, you. But no,
He swears up and down that I'm blind or dumb or deaf or something.
All of the above, biased. But no, like
Drunk the entire relationship.
but no, like you shouldn't. If somebody is different than you and they have different viewpoints of view, that doesn't make your opinion right and their opinion wrong. That's just it. It's an opinion. Religion is an opinion.
Opinions are like assholes. Everybody's got one and they all stink.
Look how many religions there are out there. That is hundreds of millions and billions of people who have different opinions about the same fucking thing.
I was baptized and raised Roman Catholic. Do you know what church I feel the most comfortable in?
Pentecostal.
Exactly.
I was the same way. I was baptized Roman Catholic. And I grew up in a Pentecostal church.
And that's the strange thing. Like, I work with someone now, Samantha. She goes to the same church that I used to watch her at when I was part of the teen group at the same church.
The young adults group.
And I used to watch her as a little girl.
Yeah.
And I work with her now.
Okay.
She's a unit secretary. She's that really young, pretty one that is usually... She's on vacation right now. I'll have to introduce you to her.
Anyways.
She was... we were talking, and she had mentioned my name to the pastor. I can never remember.
Reverend, the father?
Yeah, yes.
Is it Catholic or...
It's Pentecostal.
Pentecostal, then it's pastor.
I mentioned my name to the pastor, and he goes... "Oh my goodness, I haven't seen or heard from her in forever. How's she doing?" Samantha said, "Oh, she's thinking about getting remarried because her first marriage was not a good idea and he's not a good guy." And he goes, "Oh, make sure she tells me because I will be glad to marry them." And I'm like, me married in a church. Uh-oh.
Yeah,
I
like
mean,
we were
and
playing like
he
wants
to have a big wedding. I don't.
Here's the thing. For those who are listening, we call each other, she is my wife, I am her husband, right? We're not actually married. We've been together for almost 10 years, but we're not actually married.
I filed for divorce twice. And the first one got thrown out because he was otherwise occupied by the state. The second one got thrown out because he filed it technically. We filed it together. We were both there.
Yeah.
But he was in charge of it because he was the man.
And nothing got done.
And he didn't file the initial status conference.
Nothing got done.
I found out this week when I talked to people about paperwork that I couldn't file it if he was not out of county business.
Oh, great.
So, hence the reason my divorce hasn't been filed yet. I have to file it in the county I am in because I have been here longer than 3 years. And I have to go through Arapahoe County courts, and that's just not fun.
Yeah. But
eventually we'll get married.
Yeah.
For real.
Yeah. But anyways, no, just going back to it, it's like, who cares? Like, these people who are down in like Tennessee and in Texas, and fuck, you want to get real fucking specific about a fucking place? Russia. You know, or one of the countries in Africa where it is, there's a country in Africa that if you are homosexual, they hunt you.
They will kill you, yeah.
On site.
Which is funny because Germany, they're real big on not being gay either, and they have the red light district, and they support gay clubs in the red light district, and they're one of their biggest money makers. But
well, I will talk to somebody about that because I work with somebody who is from Germany.
That's what I'm gathering, like all this stuff. That
anyways,
you might as
like
well ask
who at the end of the day, who cares? If it harms you in any way, like I said, it's 9 times out of 10, it's because it goes against what you believe, what you were brought up on, what your religion is, right? But a religion, how you follow and how you practice is your opinion. Because like I said earlier, you are not going to practice the same way that your neighbor does.
It's what we at work on night shift call DSP, day shift problem.
Yeah. You know, you're not going to go ahead and practice and do the same thing that your neighbor does. And they're not going to do the same thing that their neighbor does, and so on and so forth down the line. Everybody practices differently. Everybody has a different belief system. Does that make one right and one wrong? No.
Makes them all wrong. Burn them all. Wah.
But who cares? Who cares?
Exactly. Love thy neighbor as thyself.
That doesn't...
That doesn't mean, oh, that guy's gay, so don't love him.
No. I mean, show him that, like, hey, you're my neighbor. Dope. And you know what? At the end of the day, you can't force someone to sit there and be like, you're going to convert. No, I'm not. You can't force it. So, who cares? They're on this planet, and if you believe that when their time is done, that because they were gay, they're going to get cast into fire and they're going to burn, then that's what's going to happen to them. You can't change that. You can sit there and talk with them and be like, hey, why?
Repent for your sins or you'll go to hell. Sweet.
Well, no, like, have a conversation. Why do you believe that this is okay? Get their side, right?
Exactly.
And then if you still don't agree, or you're still not okay with it, there's a very, very simple. It is the simplest thing in the fucking world to do. Are you ready for it?
None of your fucking business.
Are you ready for it?
What?
Are you ready to hold on to your britches and give me all of your monies because I'm going to pitch you this multi-million-dollar idea of how to deal with stuff like that? You ready?
Don't do it.
Leave them the fuck alone.
Exactly.
Easiest thing to do. Leave them alone.
If you don't like seeing drag queens, don't fucking look at them.
Yeah. Go away.
I happen to think drag queens are fucking fantastic. Some of them are absolutely fucking hysterical,
too.
The
amount of money and the amount of creativity that they put into, like, their outfits, top notch. Like, put some of this shit on fucking Broadway. Not Broadway. The catwalk. Yeah. Like, model shows and shit like that. Like, fucking hell.
RuPaul's Drag Race is one of them.
You know, but, like, who the fuck cares? Leave them alone.
If they are not causing you direct physical harm, leave them the fuck alone.
You don't want your kids around it? Great.
Don't teach them to hate, though.
Yeah. Nobody in this world was born with hatred.
They were taught.
Nobody in this world was born to be prejudiced. Nobody in this world was born to think, hey, this way is right and this way is wrong.
They were taught. Yep.
You want to get rid of hatred in this world? You want there to be everything to be more peaceful? Great.
Teach your children peace and love and respect.
Exactly. And problem solved.
Like, I was reading a little feel-good article the other day about this very thing, that hatred is a thing that's taught. And it was about this little boy and these two little boys. They went to school together, and they each went home to their moms, and they were like, "Mom, I saw my twin. I saw my twin." And they became best friends. Didn't think nothing of it. And it turns out that the reason they thought they were twins was because they had the same outfit on.
Well, I was thinking the one that had the same haircut.
Oh, there was a cute little black kid, cute little white kid, and they both thought they were twins. They didn't like anybody who told them different. And finally the moms were like, okay. And they'd start planning their outfits around it because it made them feel so happy.
And if I remember correctly, later on down the road, like, they were still best friends.
Oh, they're still best friends.
But it's something like that. I mean, there was another story that this grandma texted, went to go text her grandkid.
Oh, yeah.
It's like, hey, we're having Thanksgiving. Is there anything special that you want? And she gets a response back saying, hey, I'm sorry, you got the wrong number. You must have swapped a number up. However, if it's okay,
I'd love a plate.
I'd love a plate, because that sounds like she went through, like, here's everything that we're making. And the person who texted her back is like, that sounds delicious, And she's like, yeah, swing on by. This is what
grandmas do.
Kids should, like, they exchange information, they share photos, so that way they know, like, this is what I look like, this is what you look like, that kind of stuff. Kid shows up to the house, right?
Mm-hmm.
Has Thanksgiving with him. And for the next however long it's
been 6 years, and
they still meet up on Thanksgiving.
Her husband passed away.
Yep.
During the first year of COVID.
He still goes over there and has Thanksgiving with him.
And he brings his kids over now too.
Yeah, and like he's met the rest of the family, and they're like, hey, grandma's like, hey, this is my other grandson.
Yep. And that's how it should be. And she grew up in a world of hate.
Yeah. But, like, you can't.
And people can change. Like, I've seen some pretty.
Wasn't there a guy that you helped out when you were working at National Jewish who was a Hell's Angel?
Mm-hmm.
And he helped and stood up for a biker from a rival
gang, because they were trying to get their child help, and they wouldn't allow him in because of a certain way he was dressed, and the Hell's Angel was like, no, this is not cool. I don't care what colors he flies. He's trying to get his kid help, and yeah, and it was just this big old ordeal, and it's like
people have the ability to have compassion. Like, they can grow up, like, in the middle of the deepest part of hate
KKK.
Country, hate-filled whatever rhetoric is spread, and there are stories of people coming out of areas like that they are the kindest person to everybody. Let's practice more of that.
I'm kind to everybody until you give me a reason.
Yeah, like, let's practice that, shall we?
Yep, exactly.
There's a reason why when we we stole a line from Critical Role. Don't forget to love each other.
And don't be a dick.
Yeah. Let's practice that. Yeah?
Exactly.
That sound good? Can we do this?
Yep. Speaking of which.
I think we're going to call it here, though.
Yeah, because you kind of got to go to bed.
Yep. So thank y'all for listening. We really do appreciate it.
And yeah, don't forget to love each other.
If you like what you hear and you're listening to us on Spotify, download it. It lets Spotify know, hey, we really like what we're hearing here. We want more of it. And, share it with your friends and family. It's great, great introduction to some random out there kind of thoughts half the time.
Rabbit holes.
Yep. If you want to donate, you can. There's a link in the description. Click on that if you want to. We're not telling you, hey,
do it now.
We're not saying that. It does help us out. It lets us, and it's another way of letting us know, like, hey, we like what we're hearing. Here's a little bit, that kind of fun stuff.
Yeah.
But as always, don't forget to love each other.
And don't be a dick.
Take it easy, guys.
Bye.
Have a great rest of your day. Bye.